So, anyways, I looked around for computers, and so here's a desktop starting at 750. Of course, I'm taking additional measures for a secure network, but we'll see. It says starting at. Let's see what they give you for price, lowest price first. They give you Windows 11. It does have DDR5, which is a faster memory, RAM, but it only gives you 8 gigabytes. And it gives you an i5. You can customize them and upgrade them and build them from their website. But it's a 6-core, 12-thread CPU with 2.5 gigahertz, 4.4 turbo boost clock. That's basically the cores on a computer are like individual processors that process data. And with a lot of the newer processors and computers, each core, it's a processor, I said, but it has what they call threads. So it has 2 threads per core. And it's almost like an assembly line. It's like it has 2 lines of data going through the processor that it's processing instead of just one line. So it divides the data. So, anyways, and the gigahertz, that aspect of a processor is basically the speed. The higher the gigahertz, the faster that data travels through the processor. When it's processed. So, anyways, just a brief, covering overview of that. So, a lot of times, the faster the cores or more cores will improve performance. They have CPUs now. I think there's even some more recent. You can get like a 64 core. Of course, it's going to cost you about $7,000, but of course that's an AMD, and they're typically cheaper than Intel. And Intel, they got some that's way more, like 20-some thousand. But those are for servers, basically. Like I mentioned before, they aren't fast. They're meant to just run 24/7 for long periods of time. With motherboards, which is the part the processor connects to, the chipset, and the capacitors, and see, it's basically a circuitry board that you hook electricity to and travels through all these components on the circuitry board, and it conducts processes, which works all together to contribute to creating a display complex. Can't claim to know it all, but so anyways, I've been looking at building a computer. I don't want to go too much into all that. I can't claim to know it all, which means I only know so much about it. I know more about it a while back. I just would have to refresh up on it. But so I built one. Let's see. Let's take off like 200, like under $600, which is not bad, because the one I can build for $600 is a lot more powerful and capable than what you get here. This, for example, the XPS desktop, it gives you a 6-core CPU. I built one with an 8-core CPU. It's AMD. This one provides you with 2.50 gigahertz to 4.40 gigahertz. see, this is 8 core, so it has more core, more threads. Max boost of 4.6 gigahertz, and I was able to put, let's see how much, 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is 4 times the amount of RAM. And the NVMe drive, it's 512, which is twice the amount of space as what they provide you with here. Doesn't seem to specify. Let's see if it specifies hard drive. It doesn't tell you whether it's PCIe 4.0 or 5.0 or 3.0. See, PCIe 4.0 is twice as fast as PCIe 3.0, and PCIe 5.0, which is the newest, just coming into the market to where people can actually buy it, is twice as fast as 4.0. But anyways, when I talk about twice as fast, I'm talking about reading and writing files. It's just like if you download something from OneDrive, you see the little green bar, it'll go a lot faster. A lot faster. It may go so fast you don't even see it. It just pops up, it's done. It transfers data that quick. So that's why it matters. It can matter. It can speed up the whole process of doing stuff. If you have an external drive of videos or recordings for YouTube or whatever, and you plug it in, you want to download it on your computer and then upload it to YouTube or something like that. If you download it to one drive and you send it to another drive on your computer and their PCI 5.0 or 4.0, I mean, that it's going to be quick. You're not going to have to sit and wait for it to download. I mean, it's going to be fast. It's very warm and hot in here today, so I was able to build a computer that has 4 times the amount of RAM, twice the amount of hard drive space. Let's see how much the power supply is. Let's see, specs. It might show the power supply. Let's see. I'm not seeing power supply. See, your power supply matters because your components, your hard drive, your CPU, your RAM, your graphics card especially, it consumes electricity. So depending on what components specifically you use, it depends on the size of the power supply. They make them up to like 2,000 or 2,500 now. You don't need one. In the build I made is 500 watts. That's it, for like $60 from a reputable company. It's not something made of, it's not cheaply built. Basically, it's a Seasonic, which is one of the best brands you can get for only $60, 500 watts. That's pretty good. If you go start shopping, Seasonic is really the brand you want to stick with. They have good warranties and they have good internal components and capacitors and things like that from Japan. They're pretty good, well built, Japanese